Namaste, yogis. Today I want to share with you a short but very effective Yin Yoga sequence for lower back pain. So oftentimes we have our low backs here, and maybe through sitting for a long time or just in general in other conditions, we have extensive tension in the low back. So this class is specifically to target that. So let's get started. Coming on to our all fours. So I have my timer ready. On all fours, place your hands where the wrists stack under the shoulders and then the toes are tucked behind. Align so that your knees are under the pelvis. Gripping the floor, creating small little tunnels under the fingertips. Keeping your spine neutral to begin. Slowly tilt your pelvis forward, the tailbone up to the sky as you look up. And then gently tuck the tailbone down and look towards your belly button. Cat-cows. This very traditional cat-cow movement is amazing to release the tension in our lower back and definitely help to increase mobility in our spinal column. Matching your breath with this movement, on the exhale, curl and then look towards your belly button, and then on the inhale, looking up, expanding into your chest. Let's do a few more rounds. These repetitions really help to start releasing all the stiffness around the spinal column. Last round. Excellent. Slowly coming back into neutral spine. And now place your knees slightly wider than your hips and then flip your toes so that your tops of your feet are on the floor. Sitting back into child's pose. Now this wide-legged child's pose really helps to allow the lower back to sink down towards your heels. Now, instead of traditionally walking forward, let's come onto our fingertips and walk towards the left side of your mat. Here in this variation, we really target into the quadratus lumborum, the deep low back muscle. Now in this position, slowly walking so that perhaps your forehead gonna touch the floor. And if not, you can either use a bolster or a yoga block and place it under your forehead. And in the case of a bolster, you can line it under the belly. Finding your space, your comfort zone in this position into a lateral child pose. If you're able to connect your third eye down to the floor or on your yoga block, focus all your mental energy between the eyebrows. Imagine all the fatigues and worries, everything that is surrounding in your head. Just allow them to fade to the background as you draw your mental focus between the eyebrows. If you're new to Yin Yoga, we always encourage youngsters to approach your poses as if you're dipping your foot in a hot bath. Maybe in the beginning, you only dip your toes into the hot bath, just like how you sink into the posture, maybe with 20% of effort. And then slowly as you acclimatize, you'll notice the body will open and invite you to go deeper. Letting go of any tension you might be holding on to in your belly. Allow your breath to go deep and low into your lower abdomen. Take a deep breath and let it all out. And then slowly and mindfully walking your way back into the center of the mat. Just take a moment in a symmetrical child pose. And then, like a meditation, we're going to walk our way up and seated onto our heels. Before we enter the second side, let's take a moment sitting on our heels. Allowing the fluids as the blood flow back down towards the trunk. Take a deep breath in. Imagine a light drawing from the base of your spine up to the third eye. And then exhale, allowing this breath to float back down to the base of the spine. Let's do it several rounds. Inhale, take a deep breath in. Breath to the third eye. And then exhale, allow the breath, the light, to come down to the base of the spine. Last round, inhale, take a deep breath. All the way between the eyebrows. And then exhale, let it all out. And before we go into the second side, let's come on to our hands and then place it behind you. Now this is a small invigorating movement to regain some integrity in our lower back. My fingertips are towards the side of the mat, and you can also place it behind you. And then slowly invigorate your legs, give it a bit of activation. Push your pelvis up and then expand your chest up to the sky. Exhale, sitting back down. Let's do that one more round. Inhale, push the pelvis up. And then exhale, coming back onto your seat. And now last round, we're gonna hold it just for 5 seconds. Inhale, draw the pelvis up to the sky and then hold. Invigorate your legs. This is a yang activity. You're gonna feel some heat. And then sitting back onto your heels. Beautiful. Coming onto your fingertips and then walking your way back into sitting on your heels. Let's go for the second side. Allow your knees to stay where they are, slightly open from your hips. Let's walk forward in a symmetrical position. And then this time, slowly from the center, walking your way to the right side of the mat. I always like to have my left arm slightly more forward to really find that activation, that focus in my QL, quadratus lumborum. And once you find that sensation, let's melt into it again. Maybe 2 out of 10 effort coming into your pose. And then allow time to slowly bring you deeper. You have nothing to do, nowhere to go, and nobody to be. I like to imagine that my lower back is like cold butter just came out of the refrigerator. And then after some time in the pose is like the warm sunshine, slowly melting this butter. On every exhale, imagine the butter just melt a little bit more. Releasing any unnecessary tension we might be holding on to. In this child's pose, I often feel I'm surrendering to the process of change, of transformation. And just like how we cannot will spring to turn into summer, we just have to allow this transformation to occur naturally. And therefore, as we bow forward into child's pose, although the transformation process has already begun, in our mind, we just need to surrender and be patient. Slowly coming onto your fingertips, and then walk your way back into the center. Let's stay in a symmetrical child's pose just for a few breaths to realign our spine. When you're ready, let's come onto our knees. Let's just do one round of this dynamic back camel pose. So coming onto your hands behind you, either the palms facing side or behind, and then let's charge into our legs. Feel like a bit of fire energy into our thighs, lifting up, pelvis up to the sky. And then sitting back down. Let's do one last one. Inhale, push the pelvis up to the sky, look up. And then sitting back down. Excellent. Let's come onto the side of your seat and then swing your legs up into the front. We're going to move directly to the second pose. Here, let's draw your left foot to the inside of your right leg. So as if you're sitting up for a traditional half butterfly. Now, instead of folding directly forward, what we're going to do now is to turn our belly so that it is facing towards my left knee. Yeah. So place your right hand over the left kneecap. We're going to come onto a lateral flexion. A side bend here really helps to lengthen the side line of the body and then open into the deep back muscle. Here, I love to place my shoulder inside my right thigh, if that is accessible to you. If not, you can also, from here, place your right underarm resting on the bolster, and that will really help you to take some pressure off the trunk of the torso. So if you have a bolster under your arm, here you have a choice to bring your other arm over the head or place it behind your head. If you're unable to kind of rest your arm over the foot, then I recommend just staying put. Maybe place your left hand behind your small of your back. So you have some variation to the arm, hand behind the head, over the head, or place it behind the small of your back. If your neck is getting a bit strained, here is the ultimate yin support. I place my hand under my head. You can also have it on your shin as well. The most important part is allowing the neck, the head to rest. This way we can soften the upper chain of your lateral line and then focusing on releasing the tension in the more the inferior part of your lateral fascial line. And of course, my more mobile yogis, you can release the bolster and then just come into your full expression. Wherever you might be in your practice, notice not just the physical body. Observe your mind, observe your emotions. There's going to be days where the posture may bring up certain memories, certain emotions in you. And that is all part of being human. Allow yourself to observe and see emotions are like guests. They come and they go. But the conscious witness, you, your soul, is the home. So honor that. So we only have a few breaths here. If you want to kind of move into a bit more, a different arm variation, like what I'm doing here, kind of have my arms overhead just for the last little lateral expression. Go for it. And then slowly reach your arms back up first if you have it over, and then bring the body coming up. If you're me, you might feel like a little vulnerable in the side of the back muscle, and that's totally fine. Just move slowly with awareness. We're gonna come to a rest. If you have a pillow or bolster, let's slide it under our knees, and that will help soften the lower back. Come to a well-deserved mini shavasana. And gently, let's coming onto our side. Moving slowly, mindfully back up. And we're gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna switch where I'm facing just so I can still see you through a lens. Let's draw the right knee so that the right sole of the foot is in the left inner thigh. Now, turning your torso towards the right kneecap, place your left hand over the right kneecap. And then place your left outer shoulder either inside of your left knee or on top. Again, if you need the support of the bolster, just have it under your left arm. And I love placing my hand under my head, give myself a bit of support in the neck. And then your other hand can be either in the low back. If you're a bit more flexy, bring it overhead, and then even grab onto your leg. Notice the right side and the left side. Chances are they're never symmetrical. And we might need different variations and modifications to honor our bodies. And depending where you're at mentally, maybe it is very challenging for you to close your eyes, and that's all right. Our eyes are really the reflection of our mental state. If your mind is active, chances are it's really, really difficult to close your eyes, and there's no need to force them to close. In this case, I suggest you to have your eyes half open and gaze softly, intently, with attention and intention right in front of you. And then slowly, let's come up, shifting out of our position here. And then let's come into a rest. Now, in your mini shavasanas, you can always choose how you want to rest. I love placing the bolster under my knees and lie on my back, but you are welcome to lie in child's pose, fetal position, or on your belly. And if you're not on your back, gently come out of your position and lie down. And for those who are on your back, mindfully bring the bolster to the side and place your feet on the floor. We're going to come to our final pose in spinal twist. And place your feet onto the floor and then lift your hips off the ground and shift it to the right side of your mat. And then extending your left leg out, draw your right knee to your chest. Give yourself a small little hug first. And then place your right knee over the left side of the mat as you twisting the spinal column. Extending your right arm directly to the side or come into cactus arm, which is slightly more challenging in my opinion. If you need some support, put a bolster under your right knee. Because it's yin, we're going to keep our head facing up to the sky instead of turning to the right-hand side. And that is to avoid any arterial compression. Spinal twist is excellent in releasing tension in the lower back. The body is getting heavier and heavier. But your heart remains light. And slowly coming back into center. Let's remove the bolster and then place your feet back onto the floor. Let's take a moment here. If you feel quite vulnerable, how you feel along the spinal column, that's okay. Just take a deep breath in and exhale through the mouth. And here, place your feet onto the floor. We're gonna do a small invigorating exercise before we shift to the second side. Pressing down into your feet, extending your hands, and where your fingers should more or less brush along the ankles or the heels of your feet. Pressing down into the floor, and then energetically draw your heels towards your butt so you feel the hamstrings are activated. And then we'll curl up, drawing the tailbone down and the pubic bone towards the sky. And now, palms are up towards the sky as you curl the pelvis up to the heaven, and then hold. Continue to draw your heels towards your butt, and then one vertebrae at a time, rolling the spine down towards the tailbone. Let's draw the left knee to your chest and extend your right leg out. Give your knee a nice hug. And then bring your left knee to the outside of your right body so that you're coming into a spinal twist, extending your left arm out to the side, either straight ahead or in cactus arm. You can also slide the bolster under the left knee for support. In the yin and yang theory, yin cannot exist without yang, and yang cannot exist without yin. Often we find ourselves in situations that is unideal, where we wish for something else to happen instead. But just see them as yin and yang. One cannot exist without another. And so by noticing where you don't want to be, it's just a matter of showing you where you want to go. And gently, let's bring our legs back into center. Prepare for final shavasana. You can slide the bolster under your knees if that works for you. This really helps to release the tension in our lower back. Placing our hands down to the side, under the shoulders with palms facing up. And now focus your mental energy around your lower back. Imagine it is that cold butter, but now melted. And it's soft and melty, relaxing. . You're welcome to stay longer in your shavasana and just pause the video and enjoy this true relaxation. And for others, let's move our hands and toes. If you're ready to come out, reach your arms up above the head and stretch. Draw the knees to your chest. And here, allow the tailbone to come off the ground a little bit and roll side by side, massaging your spinal column. And then roll to one side, doesn't matter which side, whichever it feels natural to you, into a fetal position. And gently pushing your way up into comfortable seated posture. So thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this Yin Yoga class for lower back pain. Continue to practice, and I hope to see you on the mat soon.